knowing your truth. So one of the first things that you have to have to be able to know your truth is you have to give yourself permission to know it. And it's as simple as this. I'm going to decide to give myself permission to like what I like and to dislike what I don't like. And there doesn't have to be any negotiation of that. There doesn't have to be any overriding of that. One of the things that I think can occur in lovership really frequently is that one partner is wanting something that the other partner doesn't want or doesn't like. And the one partner begins to try to coerce or convince the partner who doesn't want it to want it. And in my experience and in my mind, convincing is one of the least sexy kinds of energy that can show up in lovership at all. Seduction, when it's fun and playful and erotic and meant to bring something wonderful to the other, seduction like that's fun, that's lovely, that's erotic. But convincing is a very different kind of energy. Convincing is, I'm going to try to get you to do this thing that you're telling me you don't want to do. Now, it seems like that often comes from the male side of the lovership, but not always. And it's just not a sexy energy, right? It's not a fun energy. It's a manipulative energy. It doesn't feel good. And so to come out of that, we have to give ourselves permission to like what we like and not like what we don't like, and to just be willing to speak up for ourselves and name it for what it is. So one of the things that I would offer to you around this is to sort of, as you walk around through your days, you can even make yourself Post-it notes and stick them around a house. Just simply, I give myself permission to like what I like and dislike what I don't like. I give myself permission to like what I like and dislike what I don't like. I give myself permission. So that's a really good mantra to have to build this sort of inner fortitude in yourself to be clear about your yes and your no. There's a way in which you can sort of look back through your sexual experiences that you've had up to this point in your life and, survey them for times you can see that you were overriding a yes or a no, times that you were involved with a lover who was trying to convince you of something, maybe times that you were with a lover that was super seductive and fun. And start getting really clear in yourself about what you like and what you don't like. And maybe there's a whole world of experiences you want to have that you haven't gotten to yet. And that's fine too. This exercise, this whole set of practices will help you be able to open yourself out to magnetizing those experiences in your world. But just from wherever you are right now, whatever your experiences have been, being able to look back on it and go, well, the truth is I love giving head. Yeah, I really like that. Or the truth is, I really don't like when a guy goes straight for my nipples. Or, whatever that is for you. I really love it when we have dinner and some wine first and there are candles lit and we've had great conversation. Or I really don't like it when a guy's being super clear from the first moment that all he wants is to get my clothes off of me. Whatever that is for you, there are endless iterations of those things that I just said. And we all get to have whatever that is for us. What's true for you is going to be different than what's true for me, is going to be different than what's true for another woman. And that's perfect. It's beautiful. That's the beauty of each of us being our own kind of flower, right? So I want to encourage you to take some time. You can even write in your journal about it if you want to, or just, as you're doing the dishes or you're making dinner, start thinking back on those things and getting some clarity around what's really true for you that way, and particularly around things that you didn't allow yourself to be clear in a yes or no at the time. So 5 years ago, that lover you had who always came to bed without taking a shower, and you wish he had just had a little grooming before he came. God, I really didn't like that. I would really like a lover who wants to get cleaned up for me before he comes to bed. Whatever that is for you, but I never said anything about it. I never told him, right? So just taking some time to sort of sift and sort through all of those past experiences and get clear what you like and what you don't like. Another piece of this, in terms of knowing your own truth, is the ability to know what's true about your body. So there's this very insidious way that messaging of all kinds has taught us that I, as a woman, should like it when a guy nibbles on my ear. I, as a woman, should love it when a man goes down on me. I, as a woman, should like it when a guy is pushing his erection up against me. So maybe you like those things and maybe you don't. And the point that I'm trying to make is that there's very little value in creating or enacting our erotic selves from some set of external ideas or thought patterns or belief systems or media driven orientations that tell us what we should feel like as an erotic being, what we should want to experience as an erotic being. This is really, to be authentically intimate, is all about knowing what's actually true for me. And yes, maybe some of those things that I've seen or think of as ideas or see that other people seem to like, maybe some of those things I really like. And then again, maybe not. And this goes back to giving ourselves permission, right? Permission to not like that. Permission to see hundreds of women plastered all over dozens of magazines who all seem to like X, and going, yeah, but I don't like X. So this way in which we want to be able to collect ourselves back from the external and bring ourselves deeply internal and sift and sort through until we get more and more clear what's true for us. And it might be that there are many things that you've seen in the external that you don't know if you would like it or not. Would I like being tied up and having a blindfold put on me? I don't know. So would I like to try it? Maybe, if I were with somebody that I feel safe with, like those kinds of things, like sifting and sorting through what you know to be true already, and even sort of exploring, like reaching into some ideas of what that could be like, that could feel good to you if they seem like they would be an authentic expression of who you are. So really allowing yourself to have this sort of internal exploration for yourself and knowing what's true for you about your body. So, if you are a woman whose sexual experiences have been largely made up of men who go for lips, tits, clit, then it's very likely true that there are so many other places in and on your body that would be erogenous for you, that would be erotic for you, that would feel sensuous to you. And for you to be able to know that with a lover, you first need to know it with yourself. That means if you've never taken the time to explore your own bodyscape, then that's a really beautiful way for you to go into practice with yourself and start learning what are the other parts of your body that really turn you on or really do nothing for you. For example, I'm a woman who cannot get enough of my lover kissing, nibbling, squeezing my waistline. Like that turns me on beyond I can't even say. So the likelihood that there's some part of you that's like that for you too is high. We are erogenous beings. Our entire body has the ability to experience pleasure and eroticism because it's really, really important for you to be able to show up fully in intimacy, to be able to know yourself fully before you get there, or even as you're exploring there. So it doesn't mean that you do all of this before you meet a lover, and then once you meet the lover, it's done. It means if you already have a lover, if you have a lover that you haven't made love to in a very long time, if you haven't had a lover in a very long time, if you'd like to have a lover but you don't have one, if you're not interested in having a lover, everything on the scale of lovership still requires, if we really want to be experiencing authentic intimacy, that we know ourselves fully. That means know what we like, know what we don't like, give ourselves permission to have that, know our own bodies. And there are many, many kinds of practices for knowing your own body. And like I said, our homework practice for the week is going to be one of those. And I do want to just offer a couple of things to this. One is this idea that desire begins in the mind. And I think there are lots of different kinds of ways to talk about that concept. But for me, what I like to say about it is a couple of different things. I think that desire in a huge way begins in the mind in the realm of either fantasy, meaning that to meet someone who's going to take me into a lovership experience that is high fantasy for me could be really fun. Or that a man who's really genuinely wants to know who I am as a person. Like for me, that's the biggest expression of desire begins in the mind. When I am aware that this other person really wants to know me and wants to steward what I share with him, what I open to him, the vulnerabilities that I'm opening to him, then that's the height of desire for me. And while there are all kinds of ways to play with desire and how that shows up in the mind, like for instance, the kinds of fantasy that I was just referring to, I do think that sort of the crowning moment of it, and particularly for an authentic intimacy, is when really this other person wants to know my mind. He wants to know how I think, how I feel, what my experiences are, what I desire, what drives me, what I'm passionate about. So when we're sharing on that level, then there's so much more both eroticism and intimacy available to us. And the way that relates to these points about, how to be intimate with yourself and knowing your own truth is that if you're clear in your mind about what that is for you, and you have some standards for yourself around that, then when you encounter someone who meets that standard, who wants to meet you there, then the levels of depth you can go to with each other, in the beauty of intimacy and authenticity, are endless. They just keep going and keep going. So I want to move on to my third point for today, which is being able to express this truth to a lover. All of these truths that you're finding about yourself, and as you're getting clear in your mind and getting clear in your being and knowing what you like and knowing what you don't like, where's your yes, where's your no? Well, then how do you express that to another person, right? And there are a few key points that I want to give to you about that today. One is that thing that I just said about standards. So everybody gets to have their own standards, just like everybody gets to have their own sets of desires, or what's fun for them or what isn't, what's exciting for them, what isn't. By standards, I mean you decide, what do you need to have from a person for you to feel like you can open up into this realm of authentic intimacy that we're talking about, this realm of really allowing them to see into you, and you creating a space where they feel safe for you to also see into them. Like what does that require for you? Is your standard that you need to be in love with each other before that can happen? Is your standard that you need to have been on 5 dates before that can happen? Is your standard that you both need to have shared enough about your background for that to happen? So really, what do you have to have in you for you to feel like you can open yourself out in that way to another person? And if you don't know the answer to that question, that's a really great question to walk around with. Get curious with yourself about it. Like a wonderment. I wonder, what do I need that way? Because the truth is, your inner being already knows the answer to that question. And if it hasn't yet come into your mind, it's okay. It just means there's some exploration for you to have there. And that standard is kind of the thing that you can hold for yourself in your mind of like, when I meet somebody who is meeting me right there, then I'll be ready to open myself more into this intimacy with this person.